Hey gang, hope everyone's doing well. Moving along here, I think we're on day 5 or 6 or something already. Thanks for joining in. I've gotten a lot of feedback and a lot of new people kind of coming on board and signing up for the newsletter and everything. So I thank you for all that feedback. It's been good, and it's given me some ideas for some future topics as well. Kind of getting a little more into training aspect of things today with intervals. It's kind of a longer bit of text to read, but definitely go through it. Intervals can be a complicated thing, and they don't have to be. And I think one of the reasons that they are is that doing an interval workout can really be anything. You can make it into anything you want. A lot of people have this preconceived notion of what intervals are, and it's really an interval really is nothing more than a section of time. Okay, so today I did 2 30-minute intervals with no rest at zone 2, right? So I rode for an hour in zone 2 today. Pretty easy recovery ride. That's really all intervals means. Oh, by the way, I've got a little audio here. I've got a nice little kind of a tranquil sunset picture, I think, up there for you to look at while I blabber on here. So, but hope you enjoy that. So intervals is just really a segment of time, and an interval workout can be whatever you want it to be. There's a couple of key things, and the reasons that I write down some key things that you want to do, and then I talk about why they're so good, why they work so well. So the reason why they work so well is because you can kind of do two things at once. You can maximize the amount of time that you're physically able to work a particular zone or a particular physiological engine, if you will. If you took your 5-minute max power and you broke that power output down into 1 or 2 minute intervals, you could do well more than 5 minutes of work. Therefore, at the end of this workout, having done 8 or 9 minutes of work at a particular wattage, then that you can only do for 5 minutes straight. So if you are using your work intervals and rest intervals correctly, you can get really effective workouts, and in a short period of time, all of a sudden that 5-minute wattage turns into a 8 or 9 minute wattage. Or if you were to do 5 1-minute intervals and push yourself as hard as you could on those as you would a 5-minute all-out time trial, your wattage would go up. You'd be able to put out more power because of this rest interval. And it wouldn't be long before your rest intervals got less and your wattage during the on time got more. And when you went and did a 5-minute all-out effort, you would be increasing the amount of power that you could do. So because of this rest interval, because you're taking your maximum, some kind of maximum work for a period of time and breaking it up, you can do more. And when you think about that, you think, yeah, well, obviously. But at the end of the day, when you break it up, what you're doing is you're enabling your body to be capable of doing more work than it should be able to do. And that's why people get such a fast adaptive response to intervals. The other thing that is often overlooked is by breaking up work into intervals, you can actually decrease the amount of stress and quicken the amount of recovery time you need from a particular interval session. And the example I use is if you wanted to do some threshold intervals, do some harder, intensity, but you're doing a long ride. Either that day you need to get in a long ride, or maybe you have a long ride the next day. If you're training for a long event, like an Ironman, or if you're even a half Ironman, or if you're training for a multi-day ride or a stage race or something, you run into this area of having a hard time to fit everything in. And we're going to talk later. I'm going to do a topic on how to kill two birds with one stone in a workout, how to do two things at once. This is really a good way. By doing intervals, you could do, say, 3 by 10 minutes of threshold intervals in the middle of a ride. And because you broke it up into 3 10-minute sections, the fatigue and the muscle damage that you're going to do is going to be far less than it would be if you did 30 minutes straight. And therefore, still getting in good adaptation time, still getting in a good adaptation workout and working that particular engine, but having less stress and less recovery time so that you can keep your repeatability up. In general, things can get more complicated when you start hearing about how longer intervals are better. You get a better adaptation from a long interval, but if you do shorter intervals, you can actually do more total work, and things like that kind of can get more complicated, but trying to keep things simple today. And then a couple of keys for doing an interval workout, which are really, really key. On the bike, we use time. Okay, our body doesn't adapt to distance or miles ridden. It adapts to the amount of time that you spend in a particular zone. You should have a specific work time and a specific rest time. And there are certain rest times, percentages of rest times that are appropriate for certain types of workouts depending on your intensity. Generally, the higher intensity that you go, the larger percentage of rest time that you see. The workout should have a specific pace or intensity that you should be doing during this work time. It should have a set number of intervals to complete, and if there's sets, then you need to do a certain number of sets. They should also know what kind of terrain that it should be done on. Should it be done on flat terrain, rolling terrain? Is it on a climb, steep climb? That kind of stuff is important when you really get into trying to become a better cyclist and develop fully. And an interval workout should only work one specific zone, especially for more beginner athletes that are just kind of doing this stuff, or even more advanced athletes. The way you really maximize your time is by doing an interval workout and spending as much time as possible in that zone. That is how you are going to get the best adaptation possible for whatever area you're trying to work. So if you're trying to train your threshold, doing 2 by 10 minutes at threshold, and then doing 3 by 3 minutes up in zone 5, and then doing a longer tempo workout, you're kind of all over the place. If you want to increase your threshold, do threshold intervals, have them just be in zone 4, and get the maximum bang for your buck for that interval workout. That is how you're going to really maximize your time and see the best results the quickest. So read over that article. I kind of really simplified things, but for those of you that are new to interval workouts, or even those of you that have been doing them for a while and kind of looking to revamp some training, get back to basics here, go over this stuff, and make things simple for yourself. Usually, a lot of times for more advanced athletes, making things simple can open up a lot of new doors, get you through some plateaus. So happy training, stay safe, talk to everyone soon.